Okay, so basically, this is more of introductory class as well as it will include one essay topic today. So it's a previous year question only. Basically, what will happen now? You guys have to understand how exactly to approach philosophical essay. I personally was very scared of it initially. I used to score very less marks in this kind of essays, uh, and incidentally, both of the topics this year was philosophical. And I myself devised a pattern of doing it. Just few days back, like 10 to 15 days back, I read Anudeep Durishetty's book. Apart from that, I joined one classroom course, and I wrote almost 7 to 8 essays during my preparation. Okay, and in which only 2 or 3 was philosophical. Other was simple essays like international relations, border management, women. So kind of a simpler essays, right? But I feel that most important topic in the essays now is going to be philosophical essays. This year also there will be philosophical essays only. I was intimated that most of you are going to appear next year, but some people are there who are also going to appear this year. So considering both of the points, we'll have this session. Okay. So we are going to have it a very interactive session. From now onwards, I would like to uh, ask you guys also to give me inputs. Okay, let's start. Can anybody tell me first of all, like in any essay, what are some important points or what are some important you can say things that makes an essay good? Can anybody tell me either by writing or by
Examples.
yes? Okay, first is examples. What else?
Multidimensional
The,
views.
the,
Okay,
the
it will be
flow,
covered in examples itself. The multidimensional,
the
जब हम views की
flow,
बात कर
proper
रहे हैं, it will
structure.
be covered in examples. What
The
else?
introductory part, like anecdote, something which can
Okay,
be explained.
introduction. What else?
Proper
The
structure.
flow
Attractive
of the essay.
subheading.
Flow
One
of
at a
the
time.
essay.
Flow.
The
Continuity.
attractive subheadings.
Okay, attractive subheadings. That's very good. What
Sir,
else?
thesis, antithesis, and some synthesis in the whole essay.
I remember Hegel by that statement.
Yes, sir, sociology optional.
Yes. Okay, that's also a good point. We'll take it under examples itself. When we talk about examples, positive, negative, everything needs to be included from the question statement itself. What else?
Quotation of great thinker and anecdotes in it.
Okay, thinkers. But please keep in mind, everyone, either it's a beginner or at a pro level, thinkers must be used as less as possible. You can use Gandhi ji, Nelson Mandela, or a very important personality throughout, but don't use thinkers like Western thinkers too much. Otherwise, it will be a very suicidal kind of thing because examiner must not be knowing that, right? Okay. After thinkers, what
Linking to
else?
current affairs.
Okay, but it will be covered into current affairs only, like examples. What else?
Sir, in between breaking the essay into micro and macro points, like
Okay,
wherever possible.
macro points. Okay. What
Providing
else?
proper
Avoid writing
strategy.
in bullet points.
Bullet points में क्या?
Avoid writing in bullet points.
Okay, that's normal point. ठीक है. That's a very nice point. Please keep in mind that whenever we write GS answers, we can write it in bullet points. But when it comes to essay, we have to use full sentences, and the sentences should be as much as grammatically correct as possible. Okay. What else? Other points, please.
Penultimate and ultimate conclusion.
Okay. Conclusion.
Optimistic conclusion.
Penultimate, then pre-conclusion, I'll call it. Okay.
Some multiple dimensions.
Dimensions. Okay, this will be covered in brainstorm in that particular aspect. anything else? Anyone has written philosophical essay? If anyone have written it, can anybody tell me how you diversify your essay? How you open the essay statement? Can anybody tell me? Just likha ho.
Open as an introduction.
Open, I mean ki if there is a essay topic, how would you subdivide it into various parts?
Firstly, by anecdote, it's an introduction.
Okay, that's an introduction part is done. What else?
Then
Sir, all the
connecting it to
perspectives.
Can you
Questions.
please repeat? Repeat.
So we can also start the introduction with the definition as well, right?
We can start with definition, but वो ज़्यादा catchy नहीं होगी. We have to make it very catchy.
Yeah, ma.
So
maybe with some hypothetical story kind of thing, we
yes,
can bring out the
that's
point.
right.
And
Anecdote is a real story. We can also start with a fictitious story. Okay. When I read Anudip Durishetty sir book, he wrote a very good excerpt. Like it is a year 2050. Suddenly metro came to halt. Then he wrote something, and then at the last he says it's an alien attack, something like that. So it's a fictitious story. So we can use that also. Keep in mind, if you don't have anecdote, you can create your own fictitious story in the examination hall. Just make it very catchy so that examiner's interest is, he tends to read your essay, right? एक चीज जो सारे मिस कर रहे हैं, जो and Anudip Durishetty sir was also using it. That thing is linking paragraph. It's not a link between paragraphs. It's a separate paragraph which is known as linking paragraph. Can anybody tell me what is this linking paragraph?
Posing the questions and answering them in the essay.
Right. Very right. This linking paragraph will be having questions. Okay. And when the essay statement, that's how you will break it. You have to create various questions. You have to pose in the second paragraph after the introductory anecdotal part. You have to ask some questions. We will all be discussing this within essay topic itself. Just यहाँ पर हम थोड़ा सा brief discuss कर रहे हैं कि essay में चाहिए क्या, right? So we'll be asking various questions, and when we will brainstorm when we will find out these examples, this will be in line with these questions, right? Otherwise, your brainstorming might go into some other direction. We need to make sure that our questions are being answered very well, okay, with the help of good examples. So that's one thing. Whenever there is a philosophical essay, please try to make a linking paragraph. This will help you a lot. This will help you in flow. This will help you in chronology. And this will ensure that you get good marks. Okay. Almost all the things are done. Certain things are also there. For example, suppose you have to transition from one paragraph to another. How would you do it? There must be some linkage. When I started essay writing, I used to get comments that your paragraphs are very absurd. You're starting it very absurd, conclusion is very absurd, and your ending is also very absurd. So how I get to know, like, because I'm an engineering student and most of you will be engineers, we tend to write in points and we don't know how exactly to make a good linkage, good flow, good coherence. Okay, so how to do it? Let me tell you. Suppose you're writing some societal point here. Okay, in a paragraph, you're writing some societal point. And while transitioning to another essay, another paragraph, you just say, not just it is also a grave issue politically. Now in next paragraph, you can write political point of that particular topic. That's how you have to make a linkage. I will also be telling what else we can do. For example, there are some keywords, however, therefore, in addition to, moreover, right?
So we can also use firstly, secondly, thirdly, like that.
Yes. When we are giving examples, for example, I have posed one question. Okay. After that, when I have to write, I can also write firstly, secondly, thirdly, lastly, when I am giving 4 examples. Or I can also do that, like firstly, this, in addition to this, for instance, so there are various ways of doing it. You just have to master the keywords and try to use it as many times as possible. But don't use same keywords again and again. Try to use different keywords every time. Okay. So most probably my notes will be shared on the channel soon. It is available on my Telegram channel. It will also be available on Enlight's channel soon. So you can check there also. You can check my essays also. That essay quality will be very bad. I'm honestly saying. But you will understand that how I gradually improved, how I devised my strategy to do philosophical essays. And the most important part was linking paragraph at every time. Okay. So please, this is the most important part, linking paragraph. And if you are able to pose various questions now, believe me, it will be very easy to target any essay. Okay. So let's move. Again, philosophical points, like what are important points to remember. Again, first point, you can everybody can read. It's easier than a normal essay. Suppose normal essay is on women. You can only write about women, right? But in a philosophical essay, you can write about anything. Anything means anything. You can write about Mahabharata, you can write about Ramayana, you can write about international relation, environment, anything. Okay. Again, how to introduce? Anecdotal introduction is good. Poem can also be introduction. If someone is from not from an engineering background, she may also be good in poems. So you can also start with poems. Engineering students can also learn few of the poems. I am giving a poem today. You can just read it, by heart it, and you can use it as many times as you need to change the context. Okay. Just one single poem, and you can use it in any essay. I used it myself in 2-3 essays while writing, while doing writing practice. Okay. Again, linking paragraph already talked about with various question statements. We will be posing various questions. Again, main body with various dimensions. Somebody told multi-dimensional. How to make it multi-dimensional? The keyword is Mr. Speechlet. Each one of you, please write in your copies what is Mr. Speechlet. Most of you will be aware of it also. Basically, when we have to brainstorm the body part, we have to use this as much as possible. M is for Mahabharata. Any character of Mahabharata or any relevant story from Mahabharata or Ramayana can directly be used in essay. In today's essay also, I will be using one story from Mahabharata. Okay. And one story from Ramayana also I can use today. Just now I got to know. I was because I know the topic, so the example stuck in my mind. Okay. Then S is for social. P for political. This you must be aware. But for new ones, please keep in mind: economic, environmental, cultural, historical, legal, international, and technological. अगर आप में से किसी ने मेरे साथ आंसर राइटिंग की क्लास लगाई, if you any one of you have attended answer writing class with me, which was almost 10 to 15 days back, I also gave one more keyword, that is lipit, L-I-P-I-T. Was anyone in that class? Can anybody tell me what is lipit? No one was there? Okay. So whenever in any question they are asking for solutions, measures, you can use this. Where whenever you are trying to give solutions, whenever you are trying to give measures, you can use lipit, where L stands for law, I stands for institution, P stands for policy, I stands for international organization, and T stands for technological. Right? Is there any issue in that? किसी को समझ में ना आया हो? How to use it, where to use it? If anyone is there who could not understand it, please tell me. I am
Sir,
not
what
reading.
are those? Sir, what are those keywords which are written above and below international?
Above it's legal and below it's technological.
Sir, may I know the sources that you have used for making ethics notes, please?
Have you seen my ethics notes?
Yes, I have read 1-2 pages.
I'm not in any institute, but I took classes from one institute, and that are my base notes. And after that, I have supplemented it from YouTube, TED Talks, various NGO videos, topper answer copies, topper notes, and one or two other sources also. So it's a very good source. But I would not suggest you to use it as base. I would require each one of you to make your own notes and supplement from my notes. It will be a good value addition. Ethics and essay notes combined together are my base sources for philosophical essay. Okay.
So, sir, you
उसमें
didn't
जो
refer to any particular book?
No. I wanted to study DK Balaji, but I didn't get time because this was my first attempt. I had to cut short on some of the things. But if you have time, if you have made your base notes, you can use any book. For example, Mudit Jain sir book, or you can take DK Balaji sir book.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So these are keywords. I am going to erase it. Again,
can you please emphasize how to use these keywords in answers?
Yeah, I will be showing it in question statement only. I have one essay today for you guys. We'll be brainstorming it, and that's when I will be telling how to use these keywords. Okay. I already talked about pre-conclusion. There is something known as pre-conclusion. And in pre-conclusion, we usually have to start our closure of the essay, and we have to give solutions, etc. In this essay also, the essay we are going to do today, I will be including this. Conclusion again. Conclusion could be with poem or an anecdotal ending. Suppose you have started anecdotal introduction. Then you also have to end it with anecdote. How? Suppose you are giving a story of Rekha here. Like Rekha is a very poor woman, something like that. She's a tea seller, and now she aspires to become prime minister. Something like that. Okay. Now in conclusion, also you have to end with Rekha and her ambitions, so that there is a connect between introduction and conclusion. Okay. So that's how conclusion, or it can be with a poem. I would require you to use poem in pre-conclusion. It will also look good. You can also have a quote in pre-conclusion. Here in pre-conclusion, you can also have a quote. In any essay, you can use 2 or 3 quotes. If possible, 4 or 5 quotes you can also use, but make sure that context is clear. Don't use quotes haphazardly. Okay. Again, then flow and coherence should be there, connecting words within lines, within paragraphs. I have already talked about in addition to more, firstly, secondly, lastly, and chronology of examples. A most important point, I used to make mistake here, that whenever you brainstorm, try to make the chronology in examples. Suppose there is one question statement. In that, whatever examples you are giving, it should be chronologically ordered. So World War should come after Buddha's example. You are giving a Buddha example, you are giving a World War example. So Buddha example should come first, World War example should come later. Okay, is that fine? अभी हम essay पे जाने वाले हैं. If there is any question or any query related to essay, just ask it.
Sir?
Yes.
Hello, sir. Sir, as you told about the chronology of examples, so you're talking about the chronology in whole essay, or we have to be specific in the topic?
I'm just talking about question statement. Suppose there will be 10 question statements that I have posed. Okay. So it's not possible that we can order each and every example, because otherwise question statements mein gadbad ho jayegi. So what I'm trying to say is, whenever there is first question, in that you have to make chronology. Okay.
Sir, how to mix?
Because there will be 2-3 examples. If if you could not understand, let me tell you. Whenever there is a question statement, we tend to give 2-3 examples with that question statement. In those 2-3 examples, you have to follow chronology. Now, okay. Yes. Next question.
So how to mix the chronology and the dimensions, different dimensions like political, economical, and all?
that will come in the brainstorming part itself. Whenever we are posing questions and whenever we are brainstorming, now we have to think from different perspective, like socially what could be there, politically what could be there, economically what could be there. Okay, so that's like Mr. Speechlet that I have given you now. We have to use it, and we have to give examples accordingly in each question statement, and that's how it will become multidimensional.
Can't we write whole essay chronologically, sir?
Not whole essay. Whenever I am posing questions, it will be chronologically ordered. My question statements will also be in terms of good flow, ताकि flow बहुत अच्छा रहे, right? In those question statements, suppose first question is something something. In that, I will be giving 3 examples. Now, these 3 examples should have chronology.
Okay, sir.
Understood? Yeah. अगर नहीं समझ में आया है, if you have not understood it, whenever I will be doing essay now, उसमें समझ आ जाएगा.
Sir, what does Mr. and MR in Mr. Speechlet stand for?
Mr. Speechlet में M is for Mahabharat, R is for Ramayan, and later Speechlet is social, political, environmental, cultural, historical, legal, international, and technological. ठीक है? Okay, let's move on to essay. काफी सारे आपके doubts वहां पर clear हो जाएंगे. Okay? इससे पहले एक बार मैं chat पे questions देख लेता हूँ, अगर कोई बहुत अच्छा question हो तो.
Sir, a small doubt.
Yes.
Sir, whenever my copy is being corrected, one feedback is that I have to add depth to the essay. And how do I do it? Like I have so much of... Yes, sir.
Yes. Whenever we will discuss our essay ना, मैंने brainstorm किया है. Exact same essay जो है मैंने the exact in this year's mains. Most of the examples are the same which I used in my essay at that time. 2 or 3 examples must be new. And everyone, each one of you, please keep in mind whatever examples today I am going to discuss with you. Okay, you have to make a note of it, that you can use these examples in ethics or essay in future. So not even me, if any teacher in future also things, you have to make sure that it's used. These are value addition points only, right? I guess my internet connection is giving problem. Just a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I was saying that whatever examples today I am going to discuss, please keep that in mind. And you can also use it in your future essays, ethics answers. Your 10 marker questions may also these examples can be used. Okay. So please be very vigilant about it, and try to understand these examples.
Okay, sir.
Just a minute. If
Sir, I have a doubt. So sometimes
Yes.
it happens that when I'm writing it, so there are so many examples in my mind, and like even while brainstorming, so it is difficult for me to compile it within the pages, and I tend to overwrite. And sometimes I think it misses the point. Like it looks more like example, and less of like the English philosophical essay.
The organic way of combining words.
I understood your point. If you're getting examples, that's really good. Now you have to make sure that one kind of example is only used. Suppose you're having a societal only one example on women, which is most relevant to the topic. Okay. There might be a possibility that there are various examples on economic also. Like today, I am going to use Vijay Mallya, then I can also use Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi. That not increasing my examples. It's only a single examples. आपको एक ही example use करना है, एक type का. One type, one example, not more than that. And organic linkage अपने आप बनने लगेगी when basically organic linkage will come when you use less examples and more of theory. I'll tell you how to do that. Okay. Let's everyone a poem. This at many places. I also used it at many places. Okay. It's a very kind of poem only. Jada kuch nahi hai. See, this quote I am going to use in this essay today. So just take either screenshot of the screen or just write it. I'm giving just 1 minute. Such kind of poems you can use. Raju is having one question that he writes around 1000 to 1150 words, but in topper copies he found 1300 to 1400 words. See, we have to write 1000 to 1200 words. In my case, I write less than 1000 words. So it depends. I will also be emphasizing on one point here. In philosophical essay, you have to brainstorm more. So I used to give 30 minutes for brainstorming in one essay for philosophical one, and 1 hour for writing. If your writing speed is good, then you can also brainstorm for 30 minutes. Otherwise, brainstorm for 20 to 25 minutes. Okay? I used to brainstorm for 30 minutes. And I used to write around 900 to 1000 words, not more than that, because it will take more time otherwise. Major thing which we have to understand today is how to brainstorm, how to get examples. When you read topper copies for essay writing, you will get to know how to write exactly full sentences, कैसे उसके बीच में एक interlinkage है, graphs के बीच में, and in between lines also how there is linkage, right? Okay, so first poem is start now, start where you are, start with fear, start with pain, start with doubt, starts with hands shaking, starts with voice trembling, but start. Start and don't stop where you are with what you have, just start. See, ये जो poem है, I also found it in topper copy only, honestly, but I can use it in various contexts. ठीक है? I can use, how I can use it? Usually whenever there is a scope of giving solutions, whenever there is a scope of giving reforms, you can use this directly, right? You can just write, it is the right time that India should do this. And for this, we have to start. We have to start now, start where you are, start with fear, start with pain. So please keep in mind, you have to make sure that context is there. And in that context, you can directly use this poem. So this is one further point for you today. Again, this quote. This is a quote by Gandhi ji. You can use Gandhi ji, Nelson Mandela, these personality quotes anywhere. It will fetch you good marks. Okay, our greatness lies not so much in changing the world as in changing ourselves. Okay, today I am going to use this also. Let's move. Let's see the topic itself.
Hello, sir.
So the topic, yes.
Sir, whenever we are writing something apart from English, like if it is a Hindi anecdote or Hindi poem, so is it necessary that we should write it in a Hindi script, or will it be okay if we write it in a English script as well?
Everyone. Om Namah Shivaya. Samjho. This is a Hindi script. In exam hall, you don't have to write it like that. You have to write it like that. Either it's Hindi, either it's Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam. You can use any language quote. You just have to write in English script. Okay. And after that, you have to give its translation. What you have to do, you have to give the translation after that. Is that clear with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And please keep in mind, जब भी हम essay लिखते हैं ना, whenever we write essay, we can use even web series also. When you watch web series, you can use them directly. उसका कोई anecdote हो, उसमें कोई character ho, if there is any character or any anecdote, you can use it directly in the introduction anecdote also, and you can make it good that way. My friend, he used it and he got 140 marks in essay. So you can use them. There is no worry about it. You can use folklores. You can use daily examples, daily scene examples very easily. There is no foundation for that. No example is bad. Only thing is how you put it in your context. That's all. So no example is bad. Keep in mind. Yes.
सर इसकी
Yes,
क्या
yes.
प्रोबेबिलिटी, हेलो सर, कि इसकी क्या प्रोबेबिलिटी कि जैसे हमने कोई कोट किया ओटीटी से, तो अगर वो उसके साथ मैच कर पाएंगे कि नहीं कर पाएंगे? सर मान लो मैंने कोई रैंडमली कोई ब्रेकिंग बैड या गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स का कुछ कोड डाल दिया, तो वो फिर कर पाएंगे नहीं कर पाएंगे, या फिर मुझे हिंदी वाले कंटेक्स्ट में रखना पड़ेगा उस चीज को?
हिंदी वाले कॉन्टेक्स्ट में मैं समझा नहीं।
मतलब इंडियन वेब सीरीज में रखना पड़ेगा या जैसे बाहर की जो
नहीं
कुछ
नहीं
होती
नहीं
है?
नहीं, not an issue. You can use them. You just give this is an excerpt from this series. You can say that. Okay.
तो सर अगर
For
वो रिलेट
example,
ना कर
पहले
पाए
आपने
तो?
स्टोरी बता दी, पहले आपने ब्रेकिंग बैड की स्टोरी बता दी थोड़ी सी, wherever you are.
अच्छा.
At the last line, you can see this is a small excerpt that has been taken from the web series Breaking Bad and is also true in the present society. Something like that. तो उनको समझ में आ जाएगा कि you are quoting Breaking Bad. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Sir, in D.K. Balaji's book, we see some examples from movies and all those things. We can refer some movies we have watched.
I would suggest to use D.K. Balaji extensively. उसमें से examples निकाल लो. Use those examples as many times as possible. At the end, in actual exam, you will be only having 2 essays. And in those 2 essays, you will be having ample examples if you are preparing them already. So D.K. Balaji is a good book in terms of that. उसमें movies वगैरह के जो examples हैं, you can quote them directly. Okay.
And in some movies, we see some strong characters, say some empowered female character. So when writing essay on women, can we refer to those kind of examples, sir?
You know how I would use it? I would suppose there is some kind of character, I will use it, and simultaneously I will write, this is still seen only in cinema. It is still to become reality. Something like that. ताकि वो reality के साथ match कर जाए. Okay. Idealism से थोड़ा हटके.
Okay, sir.
Because we know the situation of women, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
ठीक है. ऐसे टॉपिक की तरफ चलते हैं. Yes,
Hello.
yes.
Sir,
yes.
I have a question. Sir, there are total 8 questions, and out of which we have to attempt only 2 questions. So, sir, मतलब हमें ये कैसे पता करें कि सर उनमें से मुझे कौन सा क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करना चाहिए? सर प्रॉब्लम हमें 2-3 क्वेश्चन उनमें से लगता है कि हाँ ये भी हो जाएगा, ये भी हो जाएगा, पर सर उनमें से हम अटेम्प्ट कौन सा करेंगे? कुछ सर इसका कुछ ट्रिक वगैरह सब कुछ?
Okay, there is one question, not question. Please keep it in mind. Don't select your optional essay topic. If your optional is PSIR, sociology, anthropology, don't try to pick those topics. You know why? Because you will be having knowledge from your subject point of view, but this will make your essay very monotonous. First thing to keep in mind. Try as much as possible to not select that essay. अगर कोई option नहीं बचेगा, then you can also select the topic your optional. Okay, but resist as much as possible to not select that, because otherwise your essay will become monotonous from one angle only. One thing is that.
Okay, sir.
ठीक है. इसके बाद और बताता हूँ 2 सेकेंड. Apart from that, now there are 8 topics. How to select 2 topics? Question is very good. We have to choose that topic which is first of all easily understood to you. ठीक है, जिसके words easy हो, easily understood, relate to. And जब हम पहली बार किसी टॉपिक को देखते हैं ना, whenever we see a topic for the very first time, we can think in our mind whether we can brainstorm it or not. However, in actual exam, ये आज जो मैंने टॉपिक लिया है, this was the topic which I write very nicely. But the second topic which I selected, which I will be discussing in the next class, the topic was quite difficult to brainstorm. Okay. So I, after 10 minutes of brainstorming, thought that I have selected a wrong topic. So 2-3 minutes or 5 minutes also, just a preliminary brainstorming you can do, whether you can get good examples or good question statements or not. So choose that state, easily make question statements where you can easily brainstorm. You can take 5 minutes for that, and whichever is easily understood for you, where words are easy. Okay, and abstain from optional topic. Is that clear with everyone? I guess yes. Okay, moving on to today's topic. The topic is philosophy of wantlessness is utopian and that of materialism is chimera. Is it? किसी को मतलब ना समझ में आया हो यूटोपियन का, काइमेरा का?
Yes, sir. Please explain utopian and chimera.
Yes, just a minute. When I attempted this topic now, even I don't know the meaning of chimera. Now you will be wondering how I was able to write essay on it. Actually, there is a Hindi translation which is given with that. And in the Hindi translation, I got to know chimera means maya. There is a word na, moho maya, maya. When we think more rigorously, ठीक है, maya. And utopian का मतलब होता है ideal. They say that in today's scenario, a women prime minister is utopian. I will phrase it in a better way. In a patriarchal society like India, it is utopian to find a women prime minister in 21st century. Understood? So this is ideal situation. That is not true. उसको हम utopian बोलते हैं. And ये कहाँ से पता चलता है? Hindi translation you can see. I found this topic to be easy. That's why I chose this topic. Many of you must be thinking that this topic is very, very hard, or you can say kind of no, you cannot understand it. Don't worry. You just have to think for a minute whether you can make questions or not. Okay. Let me tell you how I made questions. Many of you must have read it also. Starting with introduction itself. Introduction, I already told ki we can start with anecdote, or we can start with poem, or we can start with contextual introduction, definitions, etc. But definition ko main yahan use nahi karunga. Whosoever asks me whether we can use definitions in introduction, please keep in mind I will be using definitions later on. In introduction, always try to give anecdote. It will be very nice. Okay? It will fetch you at least 5 extra marks if you are starting with anecdote or a poem. So I have given 2 anecdotes here. Whether you can start with Jonas Salk here. Who was Jonas Salk? Please keep in mind, this is an example. Note down in your copies. It can be used next time in any of the essay. Jonas Salk was a personality जिन्होंने polio vaccine, who actually invented polio vaccine or discovered, whatever you want to say it. He didn't patent it. And he said that, why should I patent it? Can anybody patent sun? Right? So he said, can anybody patent sun? So that's why polio vaccine is for all, like sun is for all. That is why I won't patent it. And that's why it actually got available in third world countries very earlier. Okay. So Jonas Salk is one example which we can use. Why I'm using this anecdote? Because of this statement, wantlessness. Wantlessness here is the main subject. Okay. Because of this particular reason, I am showing his wantlessness. If he would have wanted, usko recognition milti, right? He could have gotten royalty. He could have gotten more money. But it is wantlessness. And in this wantlessness, I am giving the anecdote of Jonas Salk. You also can use it. Okay. How can I use it? I will not use a name directly. I will say there was a person who invented this, and with his selfless service and for desire to do good for society, and with his wantlessness attitude, he did not patent polio vaccine. He said, can we, just like sun, polio vaccine is for everyone. And that personality is none other than Dr. Jonas Salk. That's how my introduction will be. Is that clear? One introduction will be from Jonas Salk. There can be one more introduction which I brainstormed. and which I actually write in my essay. That is Marxist criticism of stateless society. See, it's very easy for PSIR students and for sociology students to understand what is stateless society. जो दूसरे students हैं उनको बहुत easily समझा रहा हूँ मैं. You can use it in. This is also a second example for you, which you can use in subsequent times. Stateless society is something that there is no government, and Marx says it is possible where people will regulate themselves. But in actual, this is not possible. Why it is not possible? Because every one of us, if we are getting even 10 rupees on road, we will pick it pocket. That's how society is. Because we are Hindu, we are lalchi, right? We only think about ourselves. We don't think about society as a whole. So stateless society is not possible. So when Marx says that there will be wantlessness, when Marx says there will be wantlessness and stateless society is possible, their critic says it is not possible. And इसी तरीके से मैंने यहाँ पर इस introduction को शुरू किया था. That's how I started it. PSIR and sociology students would have gotten it. मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा हूँ? Dr. Jonas Salkvalli introduction is good. It's an anecdotal introduction, while Marxist criticism wala is contextual introduction. Okay, it's an example, but it's a contextual introduction. Is that clear? Can anybody tell me what could be the other introduction? If anybody.
Mother Teresa.
Okay, that's a very good point. Mother Teresa you can use. What else?
Mother Teresa, Sir Buddha, when he sees four bodies or four persons,
okay,
and he questions his existence. So then we can use that he sees that desire and wantlessness.
Bilkul. Cessation of desire, wantlessness, cessation of desire. It will give you nirvana, moksha. Okay.
Yes,
Sir, Sonu Sood we can use.
Yes, we can use it.
Sir Gandhi ji, when he came to India, he refused all his clothes and started wearing Indian clothes. And
yes, we can use it. So now you guys are brainstorming. That's how you have to get one example, which you can use as an anecdote. Just make sure the example is very, very good. That will increase your reader's interest. That example should be best example from your whole essay.
Sir,
and you will
we
be
can
brainstorming.
use Bhagat Singh.
Can you give me the context?
Sir, because क्योंकि उन्होंने देश के लिए अपनी जान दी, उन्होंने फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी अपने देश को रखा और उसके बाद सेकंड अपने रिलेटिव या अपने फैमिली को, तो उन्होंने एक रिस्पेक्ट.
Yes, you can use it. Just make sure that context is known to examiner also. Okay, create a very good story. Good, adjectives. Use good adjectives. Please keep in mind whenever you are giving introduction, use good adjectives. Make story very beautiful. या तो बहुत sad, बहुत लाचार कोई है. For example, there is a girl who is hungry from 7. Her shop is also destroyed due to cyclone. Her father is ailing. Her mother is also diabetic. And now she does not have documents. Even the government is not able to help. Who will come to help? Thing like that. Even make the story very heart-wrenching. Otherwise, make story very very good adjectives you can use. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you?
Sir, can we quote an example from administration, like an IAS or IPS officer who has been doing his duty work?
Yes, we can use it. We can use it.
Okay.
Altruism.
Sir, how about Charvaka philosophy?
Which philosophy?
Charvaka.
Charvahak philosophy we will use in body, na?
Yes, sir.
Here you jumped onto materialism. You can jump onto it, but it's a second subject. What I am focusing on is this is the first subject, and it's prudent to use first subject as introduction. Okay.
Sir, can you please mention the word limit of introduction with the story limit also, the word limit of story particularly?
100 words of introduction will suffice. If possible, take it 70, 80. but maximum 100 words. Okay.
So
100 words of introduction, 100 words of conclusion, and 800 words for body.
So, but if we're going to write a story, then story itself take 50 to 60 words, na? So
हाँ. So story will be your introduction ना. उसको थोड़ा सा context में लाने के लिए 30-40 words use हो जाएंगे, और उसको थोड़ा सा transition करने के लिए 10-20 words use हो जाएंगे. So still maximum 120 words में your introduction is complete.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So is there any reduction in marks if we exceed word limits?
Where?
So if we are exceeding word limit, then will our marks be deducted?
There will not be any penalty. When we tend to make a good essay, na, we are just analyzing that 120 words for introduction, 120 for conclusion, and rest for body. Because body will consist of more marks, not introduction, right? ऐसा नहीं है कि आप word exceed नहीं कर सकते. If you are giving a very good introduction in 150 words, that's also acceptable. But the goal is 100 to 120. Okay.
No, sir, I'm talking about whole essays exceeding more than 1200 words.
1200 का 1300 चले जाओ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Not more than that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, I had a doubt regarding the introduction. As you told, you started from the wantlessness example, right? Like, is it necessary that we should start from that wantlessness only? Can't we start from the materialism thing?
You can start. I said that wantlessness is first subject, and it is prudent for me to start with it. Otherwise, you can start with materialism also. It's totally up to you. It will not cut your marks, but मैं इसलिए नहीं लिख रहा because that comes chronology बिगड़ जाएगी. That's it. I want to make sure that chronology is followed. That's why, based on the essay topic itself, I'm using wantlessness. It's all about chronology. Yes.
Sir, are we discussing the wantlessness, or wantlessness is utopian?
We will discuss that also in main body. I am just discussing wantlessness here in introduction. We are not even giving the definition. We are just giving an anecdote to start with.
So
and that anecdote in 70-80 words.
So, sir, shouldn't we give the anecdote in wantless is utopian wala thing?
You can give that also, but I am giving wantlessness, and it will not cut my marks. Why? Because look at my linking paragraph here. Want, ठीक है? But उसमें से मैंने wantlessness को pick कर लिया introduction के लिए. Now in the subsequent paragraphs and subsequent lines, I will be showing how wantlessness is utopian. तो आपने एक उसका positive example दे दिया, बाद में उसको negate कर दिया. That is why I am using what is wantlessness का example.
Okay, thank you.
Can we also think in this way? For example, we create this fictional story. It's not fictional, but names and everything, that we give the context of COVID-19, where everybody, there is haphazard everywhere, healthcare crisis, people are not able to meet their loved ones, stuck here or there, and food shortages, food crisis, inequalities prevailing, and everybody is like thinking and introspecting their purpose of life. So they kind of questioning, even the richest of the people are thinking, I cannot use my wealth to save the most loved person of my life. So the materialism is a maya, and at the same time, if I like parallelly take the example of a poor person saying that if he says that I don't want anything, just 2 time ka roti kapda makan is enough for me, but that roti kapda makan is not enough because he's not able to save the loved ones because he has no money.
I understood your story. It's a very good story. Just make sure that context is correct. थोड़ी सी कॉम्प्लेक्स हो गई थी एंड में. अगर आप उसको बहुत इजीली कॉन्टेक्स्ट में लेकर आ सको तो इट्स अ वेरी फैंटास्टिक. यू आर स्टार्टिंग विद करंट अफेयर्स. इट कैन फेच यू इवन 1-2 मार्क्स मोर.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Moving, linking paragraph की बात कर रहे हैं. Now we have to move on linking paragraph. I told you we have to make questions.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, but I have one doubt. Like someone said कि जो आपका इंट्रोडक्शन होना चाहिए वो आपका प्रॉपर इंट्रोडक्शन होना चाहिए कि आप मेन बॉडी में क्या लिखने वाले हो. तो सर वो बात सही है या फिर हम 120 वर्ड में जो आपने अभी बताया कि हाँ ठीक है जस्ट 1 वो लिखो, या फिर मेन बॉडी का?
That will be the second paragraph. Introduction में anecdote दो, दैट लिंकिंग पैराग्राफ में आपको बताना है कि आप आगे क्या लिखने वाले हैं. ओके
ओके सर, ओके.
Yes. So I told you in linking paragraphs, we will post some questions. How I would start it? In this essay, we are trying to analyze what is wantlessness. Now see how I am making questions. Okay? What is wantlessness? Then we will understand what is materialism. Then why wantlessness is utopian. Is wantlessness good? Why materialism is chimera? Is materialism good? And what should be the ideal approach of life, wantlessness or materialism. ठीक है, ऐसा हमारा एक लिंकिंग पैराग्राफ बनेगा. कीप इन माइंड जो मैंने ये क्वेश्चंस लिखे हैं, द क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आई हैव पोज्ड हियर, दे आर इन chronology. So I will be answering these questions in this order only.
What is
Can
the
anybody
linking?
tell me if chronology is bad or good here in this question? Is there any modification you want to do here? I am also learning with you guys. Don't worry if you have any point that contradicts my point. Don't worry about it. Just tell me if there could be
utopian trying to be achieved.
Can you please repeat again?
Question of how this can be achieved, this wantlessness.
Ideally can want. मैं यहाँ पे जो ये वाला क्वेश्चन यूज किया ना, व्हाट इज द आइडियल अप्रोच ऑफ लाइफ, wantlessness or materialism? Your question can be answered here in this here at this point, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yes. If there is any question that you guys can make.
So since this topic is revolving around the human nature, so can we write some paragraph on that? Whether the human nature is egoistic or the human nature is whether it is sociable. So I think that's the core, right?
Nowhere it is written that it is revolving around human. First thing. So it can also be revolve around countries, international relations. So I would tend to restrict myself to use that. Don't generalize the topic. Keep it as broad as possible. ठीक है?
Okay.
सर लाइफ साइकिल अप्रोच यूज कर सकते हैं इसमें कि बचपन में कोई वांटलेसनेस होता है, फिर वो जब बड़ा होता जाता है तो मटेरियलिस्टिक होता जाता है, देन बुढ़ापे में आते आते आइडिया वो वांटलेसनेस की तरफ जाता जाता है.
You're right. There is something for पुरुषार्थ. Yes. होते हैं ना हिंदू धर्म में 4 पुरुषार्थ. क्या होते हैं?
Yes sir.
धर्म, अर्थ, काम, मोक्ष. Calm is related to materialism. Even
materialism
earth is related to materialism.
To materialism, sir.
Right. Dharma kind of wantlessness. धर्म को मैं wantlessness नहीं बोलूंगा, but मोक्ष को मैं wantlessness बोलूंगा. Right. आपकी लाइफ साइकिल अप्रोच में 4 पुरुषार्थ में आ गई. And I am telling you here only, I have used this example in the ideal approach. ठीक है? You're thinking in the right point. करना कुछ नहीं है, करना सिंपल ही है. जब आपको ब्लैंक पेज, खाली पेज मिलेगा ना, ऐसा खाली पेज होगा, उसमें ऐसे ब्लॉक बना लेना. एक क्वेश्चन लिख लेना, एक यहाँ क्वेश्चन लिख लेना, क्वेश्चन 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 क्वेश्चन. मान लो 6 क्वेश्चन बने, मैंने 6 पार्ट में डिवाइड कर दिया. नाउ व्हेन यू हैव टू ब्रेनस्टॉर्म in these 6 boxes, 6 questions are there which you have made already. The first thing you have to do in any essay is to make these questions. When you make these questions, you have to brainstorm accordingly. Now 1 2 3 in this question, what could be the good examples here, what could be the good examples here, here, here. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
And use one example once in whole essay. There is a scope of using same examples everywhere. I can use the same example in wantlessness. I can use the same example in ideal approach also. It's just about context, how I'm using it. Okay.
Sir, can we
Let's
quote
move.
Bill and Melinda Gates in this कि starting में जब वो Microsoft बनाए थे तो वो materialism की तरफ गए थे. Now they charity foundation use किया है उन लोगों ने तो wantlessness की तरफ वो move कर रहे हैं थोड़ा.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. You can use it. Context में आप जैसे use करना चाहें. Example कोई भी बुरा नहीं होता है. You only have to make sure that context is okay. ठीक है? चलो.
Okay, sir.
Main body में I told make headings. मेरी headings क्या होती थी? How I used to make it? My heading was simple. What is wantlessness? पहली heading. Yeah, you can also say something like that. Wantlessness. 2 dots. If you that kind of heading also you can use. Wantlessness, a reality or utopia. ठीक है? ऐसे भी यूज हो सकता है. This is a heading. Wantlessness, a reality or utopia. इस क्वेश्चन की जगह. Why wantlessness is utopian की जगह मैं इसको यूज कर सकता हूँ. ऐसे ही is wantlessness good? यहाँ पर here also I can use some keyword heading. So you just have to make sure that these handy keywords are there. You can find my notes also, or you can also find it in Anudeep Durishetty sir book. Okay, we have less time, so we'll जल्दी थोड़ा करेंगे. Questions को बिल्कुल end में लेंगे अब. Okay, so कुछ headings बना लेनी है. 3-4 examples देने हर जगह पे. 3-4 examples each everywhere needs to be given. My first question is, what is wantlessness? So when I'm transitioning into the paragraph, मैंने heading डाल दी है. Whenever we are using heading ना, please keep in mind the issue of flow or issue of interlinking does not arise here because we have just simply used the heading and आपको 2 paragraphs को link करने की जरूरत नहीं है. If you can still link it, that's very good. If you don't link it, still your flow is maintained because you have used heading. So what I'll do in first paragraph, these are paragraphs 1, 2, 3, 4, and will define what is wantlessness. In ethics also, we define it in our own words. Similarly, you can define wantlessness in your own words. Make it 30 words to 35 to 40 words. इतने में आप एक पैराग्राफ में what is wantlessness को define कर दीजिए. That's fine. Second paragraph in the same statement, I have given the example of Mahabharat. I told you I will be using the example of Mahabharat. Now I am giving the example of what is wantlessness. I am not giving the example of wantlessness utopian. I am giving what is wantlessness and some examples of wantlessness. So first example is Bhishma Pitama. Can anybody tell me how we can link Bhishma Pitama in wantlessness?
Sir, he was offered the whole his
Hastinapur.
king Hastinapur, but he refused all that. And
Okay, got it. सही कह रहे हो. Anybody else? कोई इसमें थोड़ा सा
सर उन्होंने
He practiced celibacy so that he will not have any family and a private property.
Correct. ताकि dispute ना हो and he will still serve Hastinapur, but as a regent, not as a king, right?
Yeah.
So it is his wantlessness. One of the example. Now keep in mind, I am using all the examples in chronology. My first example dated back to the date of Mahabharata. Next is Chandragupta Sallekha. Can anybody tell me whether this example can be used in wantlessness or not?
yes,
I'm
sir,
talking here about
So
Chandragupta Maurya.
Chandragupta, though he captured the whole Indian subcontinent, at the end he went to the Jain Shravana Belagoda and he led the life of a monk and he
practiced Sallekha and died there only, right?
Yeah.
So again, जिसकी एज क्या है 3rd BCE के आसपास. We can use it. Wantlessness का example है. Which topic I'm using? Historical. जो speechlet था, I'm using speechlet का H. When I brainstorm, अभी तो मैंने right now I have jotted down the examples already. We are not brainstorming as such. But keep in mind, when I brainstormed in that aspect only, whether there is any example from social, whether there is any example from political. suppose there is some politician who gave seat, उसको मैं wantlessness कह दूंगा. But usually there are no such politicians who just give their seats anyway. Lal Bahadur Shastri can be used here. Our second Prime Minister, Lal Bahadur Shastri, can be used in wantlessness. It's a political point just now brainstormed. So we need to keep in mind speechlet se हमें करना है brainstorm. There will be many more points that will come from environmental, economical, cultural. So how Lal Bahadur Shastri, he as a railway minister when there was an accident of a train. However, he was not at fault, but he felt accountability, and as a mark of selflessness and a wantlessness, उसको उन्हें कुछ चाहिए नहीं था, but still he resigned. So that example can also be used here. Is that fine?
Yes, sir. Sir, Devendra Fadnavis in Maharashtra.
Sir,
it's not wantlessness, na, it's compulsion.
लाल बहादुर शास्त्री जब रेल एक्सीडेंट हुआ था तब
Yes, he resigned. He resigned from Prime Minister. So it's also his wantlessness or selflessness. Accountability थी उनकी वहां पर. Otherwise, any politician would not have resigned because उनको पैसे मिल रहे हैं. ठीक है, उनको power मिल रही है.
Yeah, can we give the Ashoka Dhamma policy in wantlessness?
I don't see it to be used here. Can you give me the context?
Like after the Kalinga War, he just wanted peace and not like anything conquest type of thing.
But यहाँ पर उसकी wantlessness नहीं है ना?
Yes, sir, but
Because
he still
wanted
keep
to
the
propagate
Kalinga.
Dhamma.
Yes, sir.
He
And
still
he-
wanted to propagate Dhamma. Maybe war as an objective खत्म हो गया है, but Dhamma as an objective start हो गया है, जो कि उसकी materialism बदल गई है. His materialism changed from war to Dhamma. So that is why I'm not using it here.
Okay.
He was propagating it. अगर वो propagate ना कर रहा होता, शांति से बैठ जाता, युद्ध ना करता, तो वो wantlessness थी.
Sir,
He even
Bharat-
sent ambassadors to Sri Lanka, etc. So it's not wantlessness. He wanted to propagate something.
Sir, India's and China's relation with Africa.
Yes, that exists somewhere else. Not exactly, but I'll show you. Now, keep in mind, we have to give 2-3 examples. Here, I have given definition. I'm given 3 examples. Okay, Tata and its charity. Again, someone was saying whether we can start with Sonu Sood, whether we can start with Mother Teresa, etc. That all personalities can come here. Philanthropists. Okay.
सर वन मोर क्वेश्चन, मतलब वांटलेसनेस तो यूटोपियन है सर, तो कोई भी एग्जांपल उसको सूट कर नहीं सकता, वो अप्रोचिंग वाला सूट कर सकते हैं कि वो अप्रोच कर रहा है वहां पे.
बिल्कुल, you're right. Every wantlessness is utopian. जब मैं यहाँ पर कह रहा हूँ ना भीष्म पितामह wantlessness के एग्जांपल है, एक्चुअल में वो नहीं है, उसका कुछ और पर्सपेक्टिव भी है. But because we have to move forward in essay, that is why I have chosen 3 examples which can be suited to the best. ठीक है. एक और एग्जांपल है यहाँ पे, गांधी जी एंड देयर फाइट अगेंस्ट अनटचेबिलिटी. समबडी वाज टेलिंग मी गांधी जी gave up his clothes and started Indian freedom struggle. मैंने उसको अनटचेबिलिटी के साथ कनेक्ट किया है because he was from the upper caste. He even himself cleaned the toilets in Dalit bastis. So it is also his wantlessness. What he wanted that India become casteless. So it is his wantlessness also कि उन्होंने अपना सब कुछ छोड़ दिया and he started with a selfless service for the nation to get rid of various evils. Is that fine? Can we use that example?
Sir, is it always necessary to support the essay statement, or can we counter argue also?
We can counter it. We can counter it also.
Okay.
Here when wantless is utopian, इसका मतलब है wantlessness जैसा कुछ होता नहीं है. There is no wantlessness. Here in why is wantless? What is wantlessness? We are giving the opposite points to the statement. So we can do that. Positive, negative, both we can include.
Sir, we can also say it like that wantlessness is a subjective hypothesis, and then we can switch to the other side by saying, for example, when Buddha left everything and he wanted to achieve nirvana, but at the cost of his wife Yashodhara and son Rahul, they had to bear the
right. When I made the statement was wantlessness a reality or utopia. तो इस स्टेटमेंट में दोनों चीजें आ सकती हैं. Both of the things can be included. Wantlessness, whether it's a reality, these points support the statement. And utopia, this statement can keep it. If I am using this statement now, then what is materialism will come after what why wantlessness is utopian. Because we also need to give utopia wala point here. Only if we are using that point. And here positive and negative, both the statements are getting used. Okay. ठीक है. मैंने question was what is materialism? Again, you have to give any definition whichever suits you, 40 to 50 words. Just like ethics, we make our own definitions. Here you can make your own definition of materialism. I am giving 4 examples of materialism also. Now, just understand, when you have to brainstorm how to brainstorm materialism, for which things there can be materialism? There can be materialism for power, status, money, recognition, etc. Right? Or I can include sex also. This is also a type of materialism. इसका मैं relevance आगे बताऊंगा क्या है. ठीक है? So while you brainstorm, please try to include different materialism with respect to power, materialism with respect to status, materialism with respect to money, materialism with respect to recognition. Okay. Yes.
Sir, can we include Pandavas as example of materialism?
How exactly?
So at the end, they also fought for the kingdom of Hastinapur. So that's why.
Let me tell you one thing. Whenever there are heroes, for example, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman, Pandavas, never show them in the negative light. Why? Because तो जो examiner होगा ना, maybe he doesn't like it. You are right in your own understanding, but try to keep that in mind that whenever there are heroes, abstain from their negative points. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
But
Can we use?
Mahabharata the start for.
Say.
Sir, can we use Charvaka Lokayata philosophy?
Yes. Somebody told me na Charvak philosophy can be used. Charvak philosophy we can use in materialism also, or whether you can use in materialism is chimera also. You here only Charvak philosophy can be used.
Gandhiji's 7 sins.
Sir, we can use Kaurav for materialism. Kauravas for materialism because he fought a war for.
Yes. It was for what?
Sir, we can use defections.
Very nice point. Again, political point nikal ke aaya, defections.
So can
this is for what? This is for power.
So can we use Indira Gandhi's in power wala thing? 1975 wala?
Emergency.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can use it.
So can we use Ambedkar's example that he inspired people to fight for power and like this worldly
Materialism में उसका use अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है because it's a positive point. मैं materialism में negative point देना चाह रहा हूँ. ठीक है?
सर रशिया और यूक्रेन.
Yes, यहाँ पर मैंने चाइना का example use किया है. Rather than using China, you can use Russia also because it is also seeking recognition. It is also seeking superpower status kind of thing. I have used that is using 9-dash line, checkbook diplomacy, debt trap diplomacy. So that we can use here. Okay. It's a materialism with respect to international relation. It's a materialism with respect to country.
We can also quote colonialism for
destroying environmental.
Yes. We can use it. What is materialism के example देने हैं. Now keep in mind जितने भी examples आ रहे हैं, the examples that you guys are getting, these examples can also be used in why materialism is chimera. क्यों वो माया है. ठीक है. तो please use examples equivalently. मतलब some examples here, some examples in that point, and you can use it at both the places. See, my examples at that point. Okay, so just note down these examples. Digital narcissism I wanted to discuss. This is a good point. What is digital narcissism? We tend to upload status, we tend to upload stories, and we kept on looking how many likes, how many comments, and how many views I have gotten. This is nothing but digital narcissism, because we are seeking societal acceptance and recognition for ourselves. This is also a type of materialism, and because of that, many people have even considered suicides. Okay, is it clear? Digital narcissism, please keep that in your examples. kabhi na kahin use ho jayega. Again, Mahabharat se I have used Duryodhan. Materialism for power. Because of his power, उसकी materialism के कारण ये युद्ध हुआ पूरा. ठीक है?
Sir.
Then there is Vijay Mallya. Somebody told me whether we can use similar examples. Again, Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi, we can use it in one paragraph only. Each and every example that I'm giving, ये different paragraphs आ रहे हैं आपके. Okay? And when I say कि देखो दुर्योधन का पावर वाला मैंने एक पैराग्राफ लिखा, when I write that paragraph, after that as a linking paragraph, उसको कैसे लिखेंगे? Not only in terms of power, materialism can also be in terms of recognition. पैरा खत्म, तो मैं स्टार्ट करूंगा. Digital narcissism is a type of materialism of recognition. ऐसे कर सकता हूँ. This is a linkage. Okay, last पहले पैराग्राफ की लास्ट लाइन में लिंकेज क्रिएट कीजिए. You have to create a linking line in the last line of previous paragraph, and in the subsequent paragraph you just talk about it. Okay,
सर यहाँ पे डायग्राम आ सकता है क्या?
What?
तो डायग्राम, यहाँ पे एक डायग्राम आ सकता है.
Somebody told me life cycle approach. There we could use diagram also.
सर मटेरियलिज्म में यूज कर सकते हैं लाइफ साइकिल अप्रोच की. जैसे हम कह सकते हैं कि सारे वॉर जो हैं, जो एंशिएंट से लेकर अभी प्रेजेंट तक हुए, इट इज अ कॉज ऑफ मटेरियलिज्म. मतलब महाभारत भी वो जो लोग चेस खेल रहे थे या जो भी वो खेल रहे थे, वो मटेरियलिज्म की वॉन्ट से शुरू हुआ था. देन वर्ल्ड वॉर एंड देन यूक्रेन वॉर तक एंड तक करते करते ये चीज.
यस यू कैन यूज इट, नॉट एन इशू. ठीक है, चलो.
सर उबर की केस स्टडी को कोट कर सकते हैं अभी?
किसको?
जो भी उबर का हुआ था, जो भी लीक हुए थे उनके डॉक्यूमेंट्स, इट वाज इन यस्टरडेज न्यूज़पेपर. So that was a big. So we can quote that in materialism of power or materialism of money.
Right. Cambridge Analytica भी use कर सकते हैं materialism में फिर तो. ठीक है?
Yes. Yeah.
You just have to make sure कि मतलब context आ जाए. And I'm saying brainstorming करना मुश्किल नहीं है. It's not difficult to brainstorm. Difficulty is to create questions in a chronological order. It's not difficult to brainstorm. When you have the points now, Mr. Speechlet, you just have to think whether there is anything that you can relate in Mahabharata, then there is anything in Ramayana, in social, in political, in economic. जैसे political में section आ गया, you can use it, right? सभी के लिए use नहीं करने हैं. हमें तो 3 ही example देने हैं. सबसे best 3 example दे दो. Okay? जितने example आएंगे आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. ये सारे example आपको पेज पे लिखता जाना है. बाद में you have to select the most important ones and the most better ones, जिससे आपको नंबर मिलेंगे. ओके सारे कैम्ब्रिज एनालिटिका. यस
sir, like this a capitalist country, they are now indulging more in fast fashion and the makeup products for the girls. तो वो एक न्यू नॉर्मल क्रिएट करते हैं कि अगर आपने ये नहीं पहना है या फिर ये मेकअप नहीं अप्लाई किया है तो you are not in the mainstream.
Yes, it's a type of materialism. It's a type of consumerism.
Yes, sir.
Sir, how can we link this materialism to chimera?
That's what I'm trying to say. Let me come there. It will be the 8th question. We are still at 6th question only. ठीक है? ये जो the point that she gave ना about that fast makeup and all that can come there because it's a maya. कोई लड़की जाती है तैयार होने, सामने से उसको दूसरी लड़की देखती है, उसे भी लगता है मैं भी तैयार हूँ. Consumerism. Okay, let's move. Just thoda. Why wantlessness is utopian? Now the main question statement. Here you can give 5 examples also because it's a main question statement. Utopian का मतलब ideal. It is not possible. So मैंने वही बताया why it is not possible. First paragraph में मैं लिख रहा हूँ. Even a child is very selfish. He doesn't want to share his toys. Example दे दो, अपना कोई real life example दे दो. That even your nephew, मतलब ऐसा मत लिखना your nephew, but you can say a child having this toys. He doesn't want to share it with anyone. It's a real life example. That is why we can say wantless is utopian. ठीक है? Somebody told me about India's and China aid to Africa. Here I am using it. Indian aid. Either it's Africa, either it's Sri Lanka. We are giving some line of credits, we are giving some soft loans. But it is not without any reason. There is no wantlessness. There is some aim. And that aim is to increase India's influence in these markets, in these countries. Okay. And that's how wantlessness is utopian. Please, everyone, please keep in mind, everyone listen to this quietly. Whenever you paragraphs, both sare paragraphs, please after 3-4 paragraphs, repeat the question statement. For example, here I can say, the Indian aid to Sri Lanka during their crisis hours in terms of lines of credit and soft loans are also not an example of wantlessness. There is something hidden for India, which is it wanting to increase its influence in these markets. And that is why we can say wantlessness is utopian. So you just need to repeat that statement after 3-4 paragraphs. Examiner doesn't lose the context. Is that fine? Again, it was an international relation example. That's how you can use it. Again, I have given another example of Plato. Plato says that there can be philosopher kings. He says that knowledge is pleasure. Wantlessness की बात करते हैं वो. But he himself accepts later on that it is not possible. ठीक है? So this can be one of the examples. PSI or students के लिए. But again, wantlessness is utopian के examples आप और भी ढूंढ सकते हैं. Somebody says कि whatever Mother Teresa was doing, it was not wantlessness. It was an evangelical activities. She was converting people into Christianity. So please keep in mind, she's a very big personality. So we don't need to show her in negative, but if there is someone, other personality like Mother Teresa, which is not as popular, but it is good work, but also simultaneously is involved in religious conversion, you can use that name here. That's how wantlessness is utopian. It is not ideal situation. कुछ ना कुछ aim रहता है. हम जो भी active, there is always an aim towards it. Whether it's India, whether it's you, whether it's someone else. Sonu Sood. Why? Because when Sonu Sood was doing charity, her sister Malvika Sood fought election from Mohammed of Punjab. So I can say that it was just a groundwork for him. Okay, is that clear with everyone?
So can we use Gandhiji's Khilafat movement support?
Here,
because because his motive was to get their support, Muslim वाला थे.
But इसमें wantlessness नहीं है ना. Aim तो दूसरा है, no doubt, but wantlessness कहाँ है?
Oh, I get it.
सर इसमें विलियम्स
funding.
Sir, Hume was criticized, no, sir. Can we use him here?
If you can use it in context, you can use it. But I don't see it to be used in context.
So Buddha also preached middle path, and Aristotle also talks middle path.
I will be using the exact same example afterwards. That is why I'm not using this example here.
Okay.
ठीक है. तो ऐसे आपको examples ढूंढने हैं. मैंने यहाँ पर environmental example include किया है. Ecological niche. Many of you must be aware of this term. अगर नहीं हो तो not a problem. There is a competition for survival. For example, in a same habitat, lion and tiger cannot be there. It is similar to competitive exclusion. Right. So that is also wantlessness is utopian. When we say even small beings, human, not just human beings, but small sentient beings, they also fight for survival. So there is no concept of wantlessness. When we say ecological niche, for each function there is one being, one animal, one bird. Okay, so wantlessness is not possible even in nature also. ठीक है, समझ में आया ये वाला point?
Hello.
Yes.
So can we use failure of socialism in this?
Socialism.
Yes, sir.
Very good point. You can say that socialism was meant to be a transition phase between capitalism and communism, but because wantlessness is not possible, that is why socialism has become a pseudo capitalism in which the army, the government has become so stronger. Wantlessness has turned out to be utopian. We can write it like that. Okay, you just have to think, keep in mind, Mr. Speechlet आपके पास है. While brainstorming, you just have to see which example is fitting. Okay, if you are having question like here, why wantlessness is utopian, if you are having this question statement ready, it will be very easy to brainstorm. Okay, moving on to next question. Is wantlessness good? अब मैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पुट कर रहा हूं कि हम जब कह रहे हैं वांटलेसनेस पॉसिबल है या नहीं, वांटलेसनेस यूटोपियन है, बट कुछ ना कुछ वांटलेसनेस तो है, तो क्या वो गुड है सोसाइटी के लिए? वेदर दिस वांटलेसनेस इज गुड फॉर सोसाइटी और नॉट. सो पहले ही एग्जांपल जॉनस सॉल्क. व्हाई आई एम यूजिंग जॉनस सॉल्क हियर? इफ यू आर यूजिंग जॉनस anecdote, don't use Jonas Salk here, but because I did my essay with marks, that is why I am using Jonas Salk here. Because of his polio vaccine, now entire world is polio free except Pakistan and Afghanistan. Okay, again environmental example of symbiotic relationship. There is a relationship known as commensalism. In commensalism, there are two beings. Okay, one gets benefit and the other even does not even get benefited, does not even get negative effects. Okay, so for this person, this being, it is symbiotic relation, it is wantlessness, it's good for this being, isn't it? Wantlessness of whale is good for barnacle, or you can say wantlessness of a tree is good for epiphytes, जो हमारे ऐसे जड़ वाले बेल वाले प्लांट्स होते हैं, epiphytes. बेल होती है ना, so for बेल wantlessness of tree is good. ठीक है, it's an environmental point. Again, you can use philanthropists here, Sudha Murthy, Bill Gates, Gautam Adani. Why I'm using the name of Gautam Adani? Because it's a current affair topic, because he has donated some 60,000 crore rupees, so you can use it here. Because of his wantlessness, because it's good, as it can be used in good ventures. Okay, is that fine? ऐसे हमारा ये क्वेश्चन पूरा हुआ. Then the very important topic, or very important because it's the main subject of the statement, why materialism is chimera. Chimera means maya. How I am interpreting it, maya का मतलब क्या है? When you do something, because of this maya, you tends to do it again. You tends to do it again, again, and again. This is what maya is. When you have money, you want more money. When you have car, you want more cars. When you want something, you just want more and more. When you have power, you want more and more. Suppose today you have become sarpanch, now you want to become MLA, now you want to become MP, now you want to become prime minister. Okay, so that is maya. That's how I am interpreting it. Now see my 5 examples for that. Somebody asked me colonialism. Here I am using it. Why they came here? For trading. They came for trading. It led to colonialism of nations. It led to subordination. Right? This is chimera. This is maya. Power ki maya. What they wanted? Power. They wanted more and more and more and more power. And that's why materialism is chimera. Okay? Next, I told about materialism of sex. Here it comes. Sexual gratification, leading to marital rapes and also leading to gang rapes. Okay? You want something. Now, because of this materialism, ये एक माया है. Because of that, you're indulging in these kind of stuff. That is why materialism is chimera. एक माया है. आप और फंसते जाते हैं उसके अंदर. You tend to do it again and again. Third, Cold War era, I am talking about nuclear arms race. They were creating more and more type of things. Nuclear, it was not just nuclear arms race, it was outer space race also. Who will reach moon first? Who will reach to the space first? Who will send first astronaut to the moon? These kind of race actually happened. So ये भी एक माया है. What they wanted to try, what they were trying to do, they wanted to become a hegemonic power. They wanted to become supreme. And because of this materialism, they kept on doing it. Right? Now Kim Jong-un is doing the same. Again and again, nuclear weapons, so many. So it's a chimera. Okay, done. Again, fourth point, America's invasion. It's an international relation point again. America's in led to what? ISIS, Islamic fundamentalism, even refugee crisis in Europe. So again, materialism is chimera. What America wanted to do, America wanted to become a hegemonic power. और इस hegemonic power के चक्कर में उसने ये सब कर दिया. ठीक है? मेटावर्स का एग्जांपल, मेटावर्स में क्या हो रहा है? एक्सेसिव डिजिटलाइजेशन हो रही है. In this excessive digitalization, now people are doing what? Have started to do what? Theft, rapes in metaverse. There was a news article some months back that a girl was gang raped in a metaverse. So that's how materialism has become chimera. Are you guys agree with these 5 examples of mine? And can you give 2-3 more examples?
Can we use Plato's allegory of caves theory in the story?
See, allegory of caves, I have read a little bit. मुझे समझ में नहीं आया था. If you can use that in context, you can use it. My option was sociology. That is why I'm not able to understand it.
प्रिमिटिव सोसाइटी का एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं सर कि पहले सब लोग वॉन्डरर्स होते थे तो वो अपनी नीड के अकॉर्डिंग खाते थे, फिर वो प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी का कॉन्सेप्ट आया और तब वो मटेरियलिज्म की तरफ बढ़ने शुरू हुए और सारी चीजें नेगेटिव स्टार्ट.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, you can use it. ठीक है, ये एग्जांपल.
So there was
You
this
can use it
movie,
how?
Tumbad. They have illustrated about the materialistic and want.
Yes, you can use that. Right, fast society. This example can also be used here. Why materialism is chimera?
Sir, Hitler.
Yes, Hitler can be used.
Sir, I don't remember this Buddhist saint name, but he said that this change from when before people were happy because they have nothing, but now as this land and gold is there, they have become not happy right now. Something like that was the quote.
You can use such kind of philosophical thing at the end of this question in the last paragraph.
So can we use that space rush between that Virgin Galactic and Elon Musk, that space rush that is happening?
Yes. When I talked about nuclear arms race, I told about space race. तो उसमें हम space tourism, Starlink, इसको सबको use कर सकते हैं और उसको Kessler syndrome के साथ link कर सकते हैं. Kessler syndrome is what? There is a theoretical possibility of all the space objects colliding with each other.
Okay,
So because of space things and so much is happening in the space, Kessler syndrome is possible and इसको हम materialism के साथ link कर सकते हैं.
After the question, do you explain the question or else with the examples do you explain?
We can explain it with examples only. After example, in the last 2 lines, you can just say और थोड़ा सा समझा देना है.
But people usually say that first write the context and compensate that with the example.
See, there are 2 ways of doing it. Either you give examples and you can give the supporting statement in that example itself in the last 2 lines of question, like last 2 lines of example paragraph. Otherwise, what you can do here, when I'm giving this question, your first paragraph should give some theory. ठीक है, उसके बाद examples दे सकते हैं. There are 2 ways of doing it. It's totally on you how you want to do it.
Sir, one more thing is when we are dealing with materialism as chimera, we are brainstorming only one side of the examples, like on the basis of human nature, like wanting more and more and more. Like we can also take another path, like because people give importance to such persons, that is why materialism is becoming a chimera. This could be other dimension to it.
ठीक है, आपको ये डायमेंशन अगर सूट कर रही है, समझ में आ रही है, तो यू कैन यूज इट, बस उसको बहुत अच्छे से कॉन्टेक्स्ट में यूज करना. I could not think about it, that is why I haven't used it, honestly.
So one similarly, as she said, one thing we can add by giving the data, like according to National Family Health Survey, more than 70% of the women faces domestic violence and domestic abuse. And then we can, because you said materialism can be of power also. So we can say that men, in a patriarchal society or in a male-dominated society, men feel that there is pseudo empowerment by beating their wife, or the family is torturing the daughter-in-law, so they feel like that there is pseudo empowerment. That is why we can say that it is a maya. By beating her or by making her subservient to the other persons, they feel empowered.
Yes, you can use it. It's a good example.
Maybe we can link to dowry in that case.
Yes.
So can we use the family example, like the person who really wants much thing, he moves to the urban area and left his parents at village or something, like material, because of attraction to the materialistic thing, his family got like after all, he at the end he was isolated with himself and attempts suicidal and all that.
Rather than using it from village to city, from India to foreign country, it will be better.
Okay.
तो डिफॉरेस्टेशन आ सकता है इसमें एनवायरनमेंट के हिसाब से?
बिल्कुल आ सकता है. When I'm going to give ideal approach ना, I'm using sustainable development. तो उसका अगर यहाँ पे context देना चाहो तो deforestation दे सकते हो. It's also a material, because economy, cities जो हैं वो cities are expanding. You need to cut the forest, and you're cutting more and more because cities are expanding. It's also a chimera, maya, right? You can use it.
Sir, human robots.
What?
Human robots.
Context में बताओ.
Sir, they are getting like emotionally connected, and human race can be wiped off.
वो एक मूवी आई थी, there was a movie named Robot, Rajnikant. So that movie can be used here because it doesn't have feelings. उसके कारण एक लड़की ट्रक के आगे आ जाती है. रोबोट के पास फीलिंग्स नहीं थी क्योंकि, so उस वे में उसको यूज कर सकते हैं.
So can we use Gandhiji's example when he says that we all are creating machines, but on the other hand side, it is just like leading the employment of the persons?
I tend to differ here because in practical terms, evolution is a part of human nature. अगर हम evolution नहीं करेंगे तो कैसे चलेगा? Simple है ये तो. And jobs create हो जाती है किसी और sector में. तो I don't support that. वो ignorance को show करता है. ठीक है, next question.
सर, जो आपने डिफोरेस्टेशन वाला एग्जांपल बोला और उसके बाद अर्बनाइजेशन हो रहा है, तो अपन उसको सर इसके आगे कनेक्ट करके ये बोल सकते हैं कि इट इज अ माया, बिकॉज एज गांधी जी सेड कि रियल प्रोग्रेस तब होगा जब उनके विलेजेस वो होंगे. पीपल डोंट हैव टू माइग्रेट. रूरल इकोनॉमी और रूरल विलेजेस को इतना अच्छा बना दो दैट पीपल डोंट हैव टू माइग्रेट.
Yes,
So migrating to urban areas is a maya.
ठीक है, सही कह रहे हो. उसको बस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अच्छे से यूज कर लेना. सही कह रहे हो. All examples are good. I'm saying it again and again. All examples are good. You guys are brainstorming. I could brainstorm this much in a limited period of time. मैंने भी ये limited period of time brainstorm किया है. So you guys can also have a different examples. That is why same essay, different examples will be there for each one of you. Just make sure chronology is maintained and context is given properly, so it's possible. We are getting late. Materialism a double-edged sword. अब यहाँ पर मैं double-edged sword में तो मैंने लिख दिया just बताने के लिए, but here I'm trying to say is materialism good? ठीक है, and that is why I use that हेडिंग वेदर, क्योंकि डबल एस वर्ड को मैं यहाँ पे यूज कर सकते, पहले ये बता देता, फिर मैं वेदर मटेरियलिज्म इज गुड और नॉट, दैट आई हैव टू से. सो आई एम सेइंग मटेरियलिज्म इज गुड. हाउ? Because of capitalism. We say capitalism is materialism. It leads to innovation. Innovation से क्या हो रहा है? There is ease of living, like washing machines, even life-saving drugs, like HIV के लिए काफी ज्यादा कोशिश चल रही है, वैक्सीन के लिए. Because of capitalism, because they are getting money for their research. That is why innovation is possible, and because of this innovation, evolution of human society as a whole is possible. Okay, is that fine? First example.
Yes, sir.
Then second example I can give, whether materialism is good. Trusteeship by Gandhi ji. Trusteeship में ये था that whosoever are rich, they need to take care of the society, they need to take care of the poor and elevate them. ठीक है? So that way also materialism is good. Third point is related to Aristotle. Aristotle says when there is surplus, there is scope of charity. Just like Gandhi ji is saying that there is scope of charity. एंड उस चैरिटी से क्या होगा, उससे बेटर होगा, वो लोगों के लिए इंस्पिरेशन बनेगा. दैट सरप्लस विल बिकम अ सोर्स ऑफ इंस्पिरेशन फॉर मेनी. दे विल आल्सो ट्राई टू एक्वायर सरप्लस एंड इट विल टर्न आउट इनटू मोर चैरिटी, एंड उससे बहुत अच्छा होगा. मैंने एरिस्टोटल को अच्छे से नहीं पढ़ा बिकॉज आई एम नॉट अ पीएसआईआर स्टूडेंट. मेरी इंटरप्रिटेशन ये कहती है दैट सरप्लस लीड्स टू charity. Charity will do better for the society and it will be inspiration for other people and it will lead to a virtuous cycle whole. So it is also
Sir,
good.
ये प्रोटेस्टेंट एथिक्स एंड स्पिरिट ऑफ कैपिटलिज्म जैसा पॉइंट है क्या वेबर का
kind of
सोर्स ऑफ इंस्पिरेशन?
kind of
okay,
but not exactly. ठीक है. लास्ट ऐसे मार्क्स का भी एक पॉइंट लिख सकते हैं. अच्छा, ये मैंने डबल एक्सपोर्ट का एक पॉइंट ऐड किया था. वाई मटेरियलिज्म में शाइमेरा में ये पॉइंट यूज होगा. दैट सरप्लस से क्या होता है? स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन. बिकॉज आपके किसी के पास प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी है, किसी के पास नहीं है, इट लीड्स टू स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन. स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन लीड टू सबऑर्डिनेशन एंड सबऑर्डिनेशन लीड टू स्लेवरी. सो दिस पॉइंट कैन बी यूज्ड हियर इन शाइमेरा. वो मैंने डबल एक्सपोर्ट हेडिंग ली थी इसलिए उसको वहां पे इंक्लूड किया है. अदरवाइज दिस कैन आल्सो बी यूज्ड. Now I could only have 3 points on materialism, whether materialism is good. Can any one of you give me 1 or 2 more points on how materialism is good? Some good examples on it.
So can
Manufacturing
we use
industry
example
leads to employment.
Can we use example of work culture as well? Like in office, the culture of encouragement, promotion, and then it leads to more work and more.
Exactly. That's a good point. We can say corporate culture ethic. उसमें क्या क्या होता है ये हम उसमें भी पढ़ते हैं, सोशियोलॉजी में भी पढ़ते हैं. That's a good point.
COVID vaccine race. COVID vaccine race.
See, मैंने यहाँ पे लाइफ सेविंग ड्रग्स को अलग से लिख दिया है तो वो सिमिलर एग्जांपल हो जाएगा. वैसे कोविड वैक्सीन रेस इज अ गुड एग्जांपल क्योंकि वो करंट का एग्जांपल है. उससे क्या हुआ है कि बहुत जल्दी से वैक्सीन बनने लगी हैं और वो अच्छा है सोसाइटी के लिए.
That space rush, it has led to a better understanding of the phenomena on the earth so that it has increased the sustainability.
बिल्कुल. जस्ट कीप इन माइंड, अगर आप ये पॉइंट चाइमेरा में यूज करते हैं स्पेस वाला तो आप उसको गुड में यूज नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि आपने बैड में यूज कर दिया है. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे न्यूक्लियर आर्म्स रेस यूज कर लो, यहाँ पे स्पेस यूज कर लो कि स्पेस में हम जितना ज्यादा जाएंगे उतना ज्यादा हमें अंडरस्टैंडिंग मिलेगी और वो पंडोरा की तरह हो जाएगा. वो अवतार मूवी आई थी, पंडोरा की तरह हो जाएगा. पंडोरा के ऊपर हमारे पास कुछ बहुत एक इम्पोर्टेंट, वी कैन माइन इट एंड इट विल बी बेनिफिशियल फॉर ह्यूमन रेस ऑल्दो इट इज नॉट सस्टेनेबल.
तो सर ये जो पॉइंट है स्पेस वाला, वो तो मेटलिज्म और डबल एज स्वॉर्ड में प्रॉपर वो हो सकता है ना कि इसमें पॉजिटिव्स भी बता सकते हैं, नेगेटिव्स एक ही पॉइंट में कर सकते हैं.
यस. क्या है, मेटेरियलिज्म इज अ डबल एज स्वॉर्ड. यहाँ पे आनी चाहिए थी, यहाँ पे ये मैंने टॉपिक गलत उठा लिया, मतलब बाद में लिख दिया है, बट ये हेडिंग वो होनी चाहिए थी, फिर शाइमेरा बताना चाहिए था, फिर मेरे को गुड बताना चाहिए था. ठीक है. बट अदरवाइज इट्स अ गुड पॉइंट.
Sir,
yes,
as you told me, we don't have to write the actually I had a doubt. Can I raise it now? सर जैसे आपने बोला था कि ये आपने एग्जांपल का गुड और बैड, अपन एक एग्जांपल को ऐसा गुड और बैड एक ऐसे में यूज नहीं कर सकते. So if I use a example, तो उसका contradicting point उसी को follow through करके लिख सकते हैं sir, if we want to write a contradiction for the same.
एक साथ लिख दोगे तो ठीक है, ऐसा कर सकते हैं, बट अलग अलग पैराग्राफ में मत करना ये काम।
उसी में कंटिन्यू करके लिख देना है, राइट?
हाँ, उसमें कंटिन्यू करके नेगेटिव पॉइंट, और ये तभी पॉसिबल है अगर आप उसको डबल एस वर्ड करके हेडिंग दे रहे हो और जो पॉइंट लिख रहे हो उसका पॉजिटिव भी लिख रहे हो, उसका नेगेटिव भी लिख रहे हो, उसका पॉजिटिव भी लिख रहे हो, नेगेटिव भी लिख रहे हो, तभी ये पॉसिबल है। हेडिंग मैटर्स। एक साथ नेगेटिव लिखने का मतलब थोड़ा अच्छा नहीं लगता है।
Okay, sir.
So can we
Yes.
say that materialism sometimes gives a sense of security, like buying a property? It gives a sense of security for future.
ठीक है, उसको बस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ले आना, अच्छा पॉइंट है, यू कैन यूज इट।
So cognate's hypothesis trickle down theory.
Yes, can be used.
Reduce poverty and unemployment.
Can be used.
So can we use materialism in a positive sense, like difference between the developed country and the least developed country? Like Afghanistan is lack of materialism and USA is having a lot of positive in materialism.
Yes, yes, you can use it. क्यों उनकी बहुत ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट हो गई है। यहाँ पर जो मैंने ease of living बताया है, that corresponds the same thing only.
So we can take the example of Abdul Kalam, and we can say that he worked really hard for selling newspaper and worked part time here and there, and tried to change his destination like by studying in अच्छे colleges, by spending money on them, so that because he wanted to fulfill his major dream of, and then he became the missile man, then president, and as a teacher. He wanted to spread the spillover effect on the society. So thoda materialism is good. Initial materialism is good if you want to do something good for the other.
That's what I'm trying to do here. I am just trying to justify whether materialism is good or not. I'm saying that जब मैं ideal approach पे आऊंगा ना, जो मेरा next point है, वहां पे मैं यही बताने वाला हूँ कि excessive materialism भी खराब है, excessive wantlessness is also bad. Both are bad. Excessive wantlessness is materialism. Moving on.
Sir,
Next
one more
question
example I was thinking. If the parents are accumulating wealth for the welfare of their next generation or children, so because they to never use that wealth, they just do the hard work and accumulating wealth so that their children education and everything is set. So, उस context में we can say that per se we cannot say that it is bad, because it's like an investment.
Yes, उसको context में use कर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. See, my next question is, what should be the ideal approach? अब हमने इतना सब कुछ बात कर लिया, whether materialism is chimera, whether wantlessness is utopian, ये सारे हमने examples दे दिए. We have used these examples already, whether materialism is chimera, is utopian, what is wantlessness, what is materialism. Now we have to make sure, this is my own question, what should be the ideal approach? Materialism or wantlessness? So I say a mix of both. Extremes of both are bad. We have already discussed about that when we talked about materialism of chimera. Right? So four purushartha, I talked initially about it. Ki we can follow four purushartha where arth and kam are related to materialism, and moksha and dharma are more of related to wantlessness. So such kind of life can be there. Pehli cheez. Secondly, we can also use Buddha's middle path, Aristotle golden mean. There is also something Confucianism. So that is second paragraph. Again, there are various examples that I am now giving. Compassionate capitalism. We say capitalism is bad or good. Capitalism is bad. जब वो बहुत ज्यादा मतलब खराब हो. But compassionate capitalism is good. That's how materialism becomes good. And that should be the ideal approach. When we say there is patenting, right? When we say there is patenting, patent is only for 20 years. It is not for eternity, right? Middle path. आप capitalism करवा के innovation करवा रहे हैं, but patent सिर्फ 20 साल के लिए दे रहे हैं. So that is a middle path. Sustainable development, someone was talking about it. So what should be the ideal approach? Sustainable development. We need development also. We need economic development. We need societal development, social development, that is. तो दोनों एक साथ होना चाहिए, that is sustainable development. Again, sexual gratification with consent, even if it's a wife, because I gave one point, that is why I thought of including it here. So that is a ideal approach. Now at this level what मतलब अब ट्रांजिशन में जा रहे हैं, ये वाला जो मैंने 10th पॉइंट दिया है, this is what because from here your essay has started to end, because you're talking about ideal approach. When you're talking about ideal approach, it is clear that you're about to end it. Okay, so this is pre-conclusion. Now after pre-conclusion there will be final conclusion. Now remember, I gave you one poem and one quote. Give you one poem and one quote. It is the adequate time to use that. Keep in mind, quotes can be used previously also. पहले भी उनको यूज कर सकते थे जगह जगह पे, but because I am from an engineering background, मैं थोड़ा quote याद नहीं कर पाता हूँ. I refrain from using it at that point. Otherwise, after some paragraphs, we could have used quotes there also. Now that poem, start wala. So I will start in an essay for this ideal approach. It should not be not only at the country level, but at the individual level, we should start it. We should start following this middle path, and our society will be heaven on earth, something like that. And for this, we need to start. And now your poem. Start now. Start wherever you are. Start with hands shaking. Start with voice trembling. Start what you have. Start with where you are. Just start and don't stop. Start now. ठीक है? ये poem use होगी context में. You're saying what? You need to start following the ideal approach. उसके context में मैंने इस poem को use कर दिया. इसी तरीके से quote था कि बदलाव हमें मतलब, let me share the quote itself, that our greatness lies not so much in but changing ourselves. Now here what I'm saying, that not at the country level, but at individual level we have to start. So here quote can also be directly used, right? And ending can be with generic conclusion. Now pre-conclusion, with pre-conclusion I have given this quote and poem, and in the end we can say a general point that you can also give an example here. Like I started with Marx or I started with Dr. Jonas Salk, you can end it with that only. कि अगर हम उनकी life को ideal life माने, and if we follow them, it will become good life, something like that. Okay, just a 4 or 5 liner. You can use a generic conclusion, a summarization of whole essay. Okay. Now if there is any doubt, yes.
So here in the conclusion, like you're saying, we can either write poem or we can write quote as well. Can I also write? Yeah. Can I also mention the ideals which are mentioned in the preamble as well? Like, okay, these are the ideals that we should follow.
Yes. You can use it. You can say after using poem and quote, in the next paragraph, you can write even the Indian Constitution supports the same in this preamble or directive principle of state policy in this article. And ऐसा होना चाहिए, और उसके बाद conclusion दे दो generic सा.
Okay.
Yes. Anything else? Yes.
We can also use either of the two, either Gandhiji's talisman, whenever he says ना कि जब भी तुम redirect हो रहे हो या deroute हो रहे हो तो ये है talisman, इसको देख के you can come back to the purpose of it.
Use जहाँ पे 4 पुरुषार्थ और बुद्धा's middle path use किया था, वहाँ गांधी talisman भी use कर सकते हैं. We can use that also. That whatever decision we make. Yes.
So John Rawls' veil of ignorance, where he says that दूसरों के साथ भी वही करो जो तुम अपने साथ चाहते हो, तो ज्यादा गरीबी भी मत लेके जाओ और एकदम रईसी भी मत follow करो.
Yes. See, people have given so many examples like अच्छा कोई पूछ रहा है brainstorm का मतलब क्या होता है? ठीक है, अभी तक समझ गए होगे. Like people have talked about Bhudan movement by Vinoba Bhave. Some people have talked about Kailash Satyarthi, Ratan Tata, Kabir, Ashoka, Varghese Kurian. So these all are personalities which can be used directly. Kailash Satyarthi, Nelson Mandela. Somebody is saying Duryodhan is better, na positive.
Sir, along with the Buddha path that we said in the conclusion part or pre-conclusion part, like Buddha's middle path, and to give example, we can also give example of NAM, right? NAM, non-alignment movement.
Yes. You can give it. So very good point. International relation cover हो जाएगा.
So we can start with Buddha's middle path, and we can give some other example as well. It's not like we have to follow the same example, right?
No, जरूरी नहीं है. मैंने Buddha's middle path इसलिए use किया है because I can give examples supporting that middle path, because compassionate capitalism is a middle path, right?
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
That's why I have used it earlier and then examples for that, supposing that. Somebody was asking, what does Salekhna means? See, Salekhna is an activity that is being done by Jain monks when they see that there is nothing that they can get from their life. Suppose now they have achieved so much of knowledge, suppose they have achieved realization. Now what they will do, they will start fasting, and that fasting is not instant. That is a very slow kind of fasting which takes even 20 to 25 years. What they will do, they will stop taking salt, they will stop taking sugar. The next year they will stop taking juice. The next year they will stop taking potato. Slowly and slowly they will reduce their food items, and at the end, about 20 years or so, they will end everything at the end of their life. It is kind of a good death which is considered for a Jain monk, and it's based on his own wish. So that is what Salekhna means. Somebody was asking my Telegram channel. This is the link for that, t.me/Antriksh Jain 309. Yes, more questions. We are still having 5 minutes. Class बहुत लंबी खिंच गई है, but still.
Sir, in the closing line, can we write that materialism is depend on intent? Like America is having a positive intent, while the North Korea is having the bad intent behind the materialism.
Yes, you can do that. Somebody said that Virat is hungry for runs, but is not scoring any. It is also a good example. Okay.
Sir,
हाँ.
I had doubt regarding the notes of essay. Like as a beginner, how should we start making notes regarding the essay?
See, what you can do, जैसे आज मैंने ये ऐसे topic, you just made the question statements and brainstorm. Whatever examples you are getting now, write it in a very nice way, because you yourself has brainstormed those examples. These examples only will be coming in your mind whenever you will be sitting in the exam hall. So first of all, examples will come like that. First thing. So in 1 month, you can take 2 essays and brainstorm that, and whatever examples are coming, you just note it down at one place. One thing. Secondly, for quotes, you can, there is a website name, let me tell you, there is a website named as Brainy Quotes. So you can have a look at many of the quotes. So have that. And what kind of quotes, ethics related topics are there in syllabus? Try to find out quotes on them. And essay preparation is done simultaneously. Your same examples can be used in ethics, your same examples can be used in essay. Okay? And the last thing is poems, anecdotes. For that, you can do what? Topics or notes. You can check. Either you can watch YouTube videos related to essay. Either you can go with similar kind of compilations. So from there you can get. You only have to prepare 5 to 7 poems, and you just have to change the context and use it again and again. At the end, you only have to write 2 essays in actual exam. And if you're preparing 5 poems, definitely you are going to use it in any of the 2. You just need to change the context. Not more than that, आपको smart preparation करनी है. Don't try to read every quote. Don't try to read every poem. You just make sure that you are reading only sufficient things. Okay? That can get you good marks. Drug addiction is also a good point. Somebody gave me drug addiction. So पहले तो as a fun या फिर हम उसको मतलब एक cool कैसे use करते हैं बाद में, लेकिन वो addiction बन जाती है. It is also materialism in chimera. That's a good point. ठीक है. Yes.
And sir, what about the revision and other thing? Like how often should we revise this course? As you told कि examples को याद करना और वहाँ पे याद आना में
महीने में
बहुत
एक
ज़्यादा
बार,
जरूरी है.
one time in a month is good. It won't take more than 3 hours.
And simultaneously,
what?
Simultaneously, as you told that take 2 essays in 1 month and brainstorm the example, note them down in a good manner. So this exercise should be this exercise should be done often, like in 1 month, 2 essay, 3 essay, we have to pick up and write about them.
1 month में 2 the points that you are getting new examples. You just have to jot it down. After that, essay itself or specifically example का अगर आपने कोई page maintain किया है वहां पर, ताकि आप उसको रिवाइज कर सके बाद में, because it's your example. आपने उसको brainstorm किया and it's high chance that you can use it again. It will come to your mind again when you will be brainstorming for another topic. And there is high chance same examples can be used again and again. We just need to change the context, that's it. Keep in mind Mr. Speechlet, keep in mind Lipith, you all can use it. Okay.
Sir, sir, can you please explain the ending conclusion generic part? How can we end the essay?
So generically you can say that as discussed above paragraph, मतलब ऐसा ना लिखो तो ठीक है, चलो, as discussed above, it is an the ideal approach should be to have a middle path and following a life which is not too materialistic and which is also not proportional to wantlessness. A good life is one which is a mix of both. And ऐसे करके मतलब जो भी आपने अपने पूरे ऐसे में किया उसको समराइज करना है. मैंने इसमें कुछ भी नया नहीं करना है, इसमें कुछ भी एक्स्ट्रा नहीं है, इसमें सिर्फ समराइजेशन होती है आखिरी कंक्लूजन में. प्री कंक्लूजन इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन कंक्लूजन. आपकी पोएम और आपका कोट आपको नंबर दिलवाएगा, कंक्लूजन आपको नंबर नहीं दिलवाएगा, ठीक है ना. कंक्लूजन बहुत जेनेरिक होगा, उसमें सिर्फ आपने जो भी सॉल्यूशन दिया है उसी को सम अप करना है.
सर व्हेन आई राइट ऐसे तो मुझे लगता है कि मेरा प्री कंक्लूजन और कंक्लूजन में सेम ही पॉइंट्स आ गए हैं, मतलब सेम ही, मतलब दोबारा लिख रहा हूँ मैं.
तो उसको छोटा करके लिखना है ना. प्री कंक्लूजन और कंक्लूजन में मेरे भी सेम पॉइंट्स आ रहे हैं, बट यू हैव टू शॉर्टन इट. वो आपका पॉइंट सिर्फ 50 वर्ड्स का होगा कंक्लूजन, उस 50 वर्ड्स में कुछ अच्छे एडजेक्टिव्स यूज करो. सेम ही पॉइंट देना है, बस कुछ अच्छे एडजेक्टिव्स यूज कर लो, दैट्स इट.
ओके सर, थैंक यू.
How to set up linking between 2 paras? Hello.
लिंकिंग कैसे करनी है?
Yes, sir.
See, मान लो आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट डॉक्टर जॉनस सॉल्क, ठीक है, मान लो मैंने लिख दिया. नाउ आई कैन से not only in innovation domain, so in environment we can witness wantlessness to be good. And then in next paragraph you will, for instance, ये आपका कनेक्टिंग वर्ड आ गया. फॉर इंस्टेंस, whale and barnacle or tree or an epiphyte is an example of a wantlessness. and उसको थोड़ा सा डिफाइन कर दो. उसके बाद अगेन खत्म होने के बाद लिख दो in addition to this. अब जो भी नेक्स्ट डायमेंशन होगी, पॉलिटिकल डायमेंशन या कुछ भी डायमेंशन है, लाल बहादुर शास्त्री वाली डायमेंशन डाल दो. इन एडिशन टू दिस, इवन लाल बहादुर शास्त्री हैज डन दैट. फिर ऑल्सो, अगेन एक कीवर्ड है ऑल्सो, उसके बाद आगे कुछ पॉइंट लिख दो. सो दैट इज हाउ यू विल मेक अ लिंकेज बिटवीन. यू कैन ऑल्सो सी हाउ एवर एट द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द पैराग्राफ, मोर ओवर, ठीक है. एंडिंग में आप ये भी लिख सकते हैं, not only in innovation domain but also in socially wantlessness is good. फिर यहाँ पे लिख दो socially this, politically this. So these are all keywords. ये आपको सारे बुक्स वगैरह में मिल जाएंगे या किसी प्रॉपर नोट्स में मिल जाएंगे. So you just have to use and इससे आपका लिंकेज बन जाएगा. Is that clear?
Sir, in the third category that we said कि mix होना चाहिए दोनों का, तो सर उसमें हम international organization like WTO, World Bank, IMF and UN Security Council के एग्जाम्पल लेके ये बोल सकते हैं क्या कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोई पर्टिकुलर कंट्री ने अपनी आर्मी बूट्स ऑन ग्राउंड यूएस ने हटा लिया या नहीं हटाया, पर आर्मी मेंटेन करके रखी है, तो वो खराब हो गया कि आप वॉर को स्पॉन्सर कर रहे हो, बट एट द सेम टाइम जब हम किसी को बचाने के लिए जाते हैं और सेम चीज को यूज करते हैं, आर्म फोर्सेस को यूज कर रहे हैं, बट अब जो पर्पस है वो चेंज करके सेविंग का हो गया है.
It's attack versus self-defense. Simply, it's attack versus self-defense. Maintaining of army for whether for attack, whether for self-defense. तो आप उसको simply context में use कर सकते हैं. Simple.
But sir, the purpose will change because materialism दोनों में use हो रहा है.
हाँ. तो उसको आपको knit करना है उस question के according. जो question था.
जी सर.
हाँ. किसी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा कि व्हाट इज हैप्पीनेस अकॉर्डिंग टू यू, इसको कैसे ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करें. सो दीस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट विल बी योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. सेकेंडली देयर विल बी सर्टेन थिंकर्स, जैसे कि एक थिंकर ये कहता है कि अगर आप इंटेग्रिटी फॉलो करते हैं तो दैट इज हैप्पीनेस फॉर यू. दैट व्हाटएवर यू थिंक, व्हाटएवर यू से, व्हाटएवर यू डू, इफ दीज आर इन कॉन्सोनेंस दैट इज हैप्पीनेस. कोई थिंकर कुछ बोलेगा, जैसे बुद्ध वगैरह बोलेंगे कि सेसेशन ऑफ डिजायर इज हैप्पीनेस. तो ऐसे आपको उसको डिफाइन करना है, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट थिंकर्स को यूज करना है, और एट द एंड आपको अपना पर्सपेक्टिव दे देना है कि आपके, ठीक है. मटेरियलिज्म कैन आल्सो बी अ हैप्पीनेस अकॉर्डिंग टू चारवाहक फिलोसफी. ठीक है, तो ऐसे आपको डिफाइन करना है व्हाट इज हैप्पीनेस.
थैंक यू सर.
चलो.
Sir, talk about the good adjectives, sir. What type of good adjectives we have to use?
गुड एडजेक्टिव्स कुछ नहीं, जैसे कि एक एग्जांपल हो गया बिग. बिग इज एन एडजेक्टिव ना. मैं बिग की जगह ह्यूज लिख दूंगा, वेरी ह्यूज लिख दूंगा. these are एडजेक्टिव, मतलब आपको थोड़ा सा उसको फ्लावर करना है, थोड़ा सा उसको अच्छा दिखाना है. ठीक है, ऐसे ऐसे सपोर्टिंग वर्ड्स यूज करने हैं डायरेक्टली लिखने के बजाय, और कुछ नहीं है. एडजेक्टिव का मतलब ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. ये आप खुद एक बार सर्च मार लीजिए, पावरफुल या समथिंग लाइक दैट, उसको यूज कर सकते हैं. वो जब आप लिखते हैं, अखबार पढ़ते हैं, आपको बहुत सारे ऐसे वर्ड्स मिलते हैं, सो डायरेक्टली यूज देम.
सर सर दो फिलोसफिकल एसेस लिखेंगे तो अगर दोनों में स्टार्टिंग एनेक्डोट से कर दिया तो मतलब सेम सेम नहीं हो जाएगा वो दोनों?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, आप कर सकते हैं, दोनों की मार्किंग अलग होगी.
ओके सर.
उसमें कोई लिंक नहीं है.
Sir, those who don't have doubts can leave.
यस यस, जिनके डाउट्स नहीं है वो जा सकते हैं.
Thank you, sir.
अगर डाउट्स नहीं है तो बंद ही कर देते हैं. आज 2 घंटे हो गए हैं, लेक्चर वैसे 1 घंटा 20 मिनट का ही होना चाहिए था. आवर नेक्स्ट क्लास विल बी ऑन 24. ठीक है, होमवर्क दे दूं? 40 बच्चे हैं. चलो ग्रुप में मैसेज डलवा दूंगा, जो सा टॉपिक मैं नेक्स्ट टाइम करवाने वाला हूँ वो टॉपिक दे दूंगा, उसके ऊपर ऐसे लिख लेना, देन विल ब्रेनस्टॉर्म टुगेदर. ठीक है.
ओके सर.
सर ये पीपीटी भी शेयर कर दीजिए.
ठीक है.
थैंक यू सर.
नाउ सेव नाउ.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
चलो, थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir.
गुड नाइट एवरीवन. अपना इनपुट दे देना, कैसा लगा था सेशन सर को.
It was great, sir. It was great, sir. Thank you.
वहीं पे दे देना, वहां से.
Very great session, sir. Very different
Bye.
session.
Good night.